being calm. He's the key to the offense. You know what I'm saying? He starts with the ball, so if he's poised and calm, that just feeds off into the rest of the offense, and it flows well.
Okay, how much fun is it for you when the first year you come in and play a little bit, last year you established yourself, now you're coming in as the guy? Is it just different for you now, having that experience and being relied on?
Yeah, definitely. It means more every time I step onto the field. Going through that process, all the hard work it took to get here. So every time I step on the field, I never take it for granted.
Anything that's different about your preparation this offseason versus any other ones you've had?
I think as an overall, just taking it more serious. Like I said, don't take anything for granted. In the film room, stretching, stuff like that.
In terms of getting keeping calm, what kind of a role do you guys play in that? What do you do?
I think just knowing our assignment, making sure that he got to know what we doing, making sure we know what we doing, make sure the O-line know what they doing, so he can just go out there and be the quarterback he is.
I know it's pretty early, but how do you like where the offense is at right now for the first 2 days of campus?
Yeah, it's been going very well. We're flying around, we're bringing the energy, so I feel like that's where it starts first. Bring the energy, everybody's flying around, playing hard, so we just got to keep stacking these days.
What have you seen from the young receivers, Corey, to the freshman class?
Yeah, they extreme, for sure. Yeah, them young boys can ball, for sure. Going up for the ball, they kind of seem like they kind of water guys, so yeah, they got a bright future, for sure.
And how about Zach, the transfer? What have you seen from him, Zach Williams?
Yeah, he's just taking, all the reps he can get. What I'm saying? He's a new guy, so, any time he can step on the field, he's just trying to take full advantage of it.
Has Prince impressed you?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, he's a big body receiver. He can go up and catch the ball. He can run any route. So, we're just relying on him to, be the best he can be.
Seems like you have a real knack for just separating from defenders. Is that something that you've worked on in recent years, or what's key to getting better at separating for a receiver?
I feel like getting strong in the weight room, and speed obviously, but in the weight room for sure. I put on a lot of muscle, so I feel like that translates to me being on the field, get a separation from players.
Is that something that was more of a focus like this past summer than it had been?
Yeah, 100%. This is a man's game, so you got to put on some man strength for sure.
Hey, Makai, how's it been with Coach Savage having that kind of inside receiver perspective for you, and how's that developed your game a little bit more?
Yeah, it's been great. Every time we, in the film room, he's telling me little techniques and hearing things that I can just, pick up quicker on. So when I come out here, I'm just flying around, not thinking about it twice. But yeah, for sure, he's been a great coach.
What part of your game as a wide receiver do you take most pride in?
I think my yak, after the ball, after I catch the ball, taking it to the end zone, every time, it's a 3-yard route, deep route, intermediate. So anytime I try to catch the route, I'm just trying to take it to the end zone.
Is there something in particular you're trying to work on within your game?
I want to say pinpoint one thing. I'm just trying to be the best receiver I can be, for sure.
Who's been good covering you so far? Who's been a tough matchup?
Oh, that's a tough one. The whole DB secondary, but I would say I'm seeing Kamari a lot, for sure. Kamari's he's a veteran, so he's gonna bring out the best of me, and I'm gonna bring out the best of him.
The yards after catch element of your game, is that something, even when you're younger, like you just had maybe an instinct for how to shake guys when you get the ball in your hand?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like a lot of it, is God-given talent, for sure.
You mentioned strength as a really big key, but what about speed? Like, would you say you're fast? You're some of the fastest receivers out there.
Yeah, I try to be fast, every time, just try to separate from DBs, but yeah, I don't know who I say the fastest. I'm gonna try to bank on me every time.
Let's do one more.
I've heard a lot about the explosiveness in the weight room. Just kind of like, how have you been working on becoming more explosive so it translates onto the field?
I think just following Coach True's rules, taking everything that he says, into consideration. I know he's only there, to help us, and better us. So I know he's gonna push us to the full max. You got to trust him, and just work hard every time you're in the weight room.
Thanks, Makai.
Appreciate y'all.